The other problem is Ecuador is known for its biodiversity, and this biodiversity is being destroyed by these domestic dogs that turn into wild animals. These domestic dogs look innocent enough, but they're not. This is a big problem for Ecuador, having all these stray and domestic dogs killing everything in sight. Something needs to be done quickly to save the wildlife in Ecuador. It is a big problem. So here in Ecuador, we have a very serious problem, and that is dogs, domestic dogs. So what happened yesterday night is we had a pack of our neighbor's dogs come onto our property and try to kill all the wildlife we have living here. It is incredible to see these dogs that you know as pets turning into these wild killing machines. We've seen several occasions where they've killed deer. We've seen them corner some deer onto some very steep slopes and the dogs couldn't get to the deer. We have seen an anteater bear, very unusual, very rare animal, being chased off our property. The list goes on. You see dead carcasses of animals everywhere. So these domestic dogs turn into this a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde scenario where they are, sleeping during the day and they turn into these monsters at night as a group, which makes it even more dangerous. So these animals are completely out of control. The wildlife in this whole area is pretty close to extinct. When a new animal comes into our neighborhood, we're quite removed from everything. These animals are very fearful of the dogs. So many of the neighbors have 5, 4, 3, 6 dogs, and they don't feed them well, which is the next problem. So these dogs are basically eating, a lot of them get the leftover milk from the cheese making process, which is not enough for a big dog. So these dogs are actually hunting at night. But the oddest thing is when we find the carcasses, the dogs do nothing to the carcass. They just basically have this instinct of chasing and killing, and they don't eat the meat. So it's a very vicious cycle. I don't know what the solution to it is, limiting people to having 2 dogs or 1 dog or whatever it may be, and lots of sterilization. The problem is getting out of hand. We had to get up yesterday night to chase this pack of dogs off our property. They were sort of rummaging into these crevices for reptiles and rabbits, whatever lives on our land. They were snooping them out. The only way to go out is with a broom and chase these dogs out of here. And it's getting a little bit annoying because there's no change in sight. These dogs, I feel sorry for them because they're not being fed enough. They are roaming as a pack at night, and they make so much noise. And I don't know if the noise is important for them to snuff out animals so the animals leave their hideouts. But the noise is very eerie, and as a group they are very aggressive. And if we go back to the scenario with wolves, this built-in behavior in these dogs is from their ancestor, the wolf. But there's a little bit of a difference between domestic dogs and wild dogs, is they have no human boundaries. So what I mean by that is they'll go after domestic animals, they'll behave like really differently towards humans. So it's a bit of a problem. These domesticated dogs are actually probably more dangerous than wild dogs, because wild dogs will actually kill and eat and be happy with that. These dogs, they don't have that braking mechanism. They just keep going, and they move through the whole neighborhood at night. And what's really funny about it is the owners of these dogs are bragging about how good of hunters their dogs are. Very, very strange behavior. No respect for the natural resources here in Ecuador. Ecuador needs these wild birds, wild reptiles, wild mammals. Ecuador needs these animals to still be alive to be considered a worthwhile destination for tourism. It's a big problem, and hopefully somebody will come up with a good solution.